Well, I'm Dorothy Elizabeth Wood Hales,
What year were you born?
1913, December 26th. It was Winter Park branch that I belonged to.
Okay.
And Winter Park was struggling, Orlando was struggling, and we decided to join together.
Okay.
I was president first of the Winter Park branch,
Okay.
and then I was elected state president. Several women in the branch originally were both artists and writers. Benahane was one of them.
Did you have a big group, or was it a small group? About how many people?
Oh, 10 or 12.
10 or 12?
Had it so that we had a writer one time discussed.
So you had demos?
Yeah.
Yes, you had demos.
And then we'd have an artist show her work. For quite a while we only had one musician, and then we had a couple of them. And when we had several programs where the musician played her work. And
something like Mava does.
Yeah, it was really very nice.
Sure.
One place where we had a show almost every year was the University Club in Winter Park. And the reason for that was my husband was president of the University Club, and I was the art chairman for the club. So I saw to it that we had a show there every year. To me, it was the most important group that I was in.
Why was that? Why did you feel that?
Well, I felt that we gave each other so much inspiration.
More so than in one of your art groups, where you work together?
Well, yes, but the thing that appealed to me was the fact that these women were were writers and were composers, and
that they were professional.
They were professional.
That's probably it.
And that impressed me very much, and I felt very proud of the fact that I had been chosen to be a part of it. We were involved with National very early on. I eventually was art chairman. To me, it was the most important thing in my life, really. I joined the land branch first. I just remembered.
And the reason you joined them first?
Yeah. Through a personal friend, I had met a number of the women who were in the land branch. And I had I'm trying to think, I had a teacher. She wasn't a pen woman, but she was very interested in making sure that I had the right education and so forth. And she kind of pushed me into some of these things.
Qualifications to be a pen member the same now as they were when you came in?
As far as I know.
They've never changed?
I don't recall any
changes. You still had to prove that you sold your work and that you were professional.
Well, is it still 3 that you have to have your work in 3 professional shows?
Yeah, and you have to have sold your work.
Yes.
You have to have
That's
sold your work
the important
and have
thing.
proof of it. Yeah.
Those 2 items, you have to sold your work.
So that has never changed.
Yeah.
Varied.
And it's rather interesting because there are a lot of people who haven't, in my artist friends who have sold their work who have not been in professional shows.
Yeah.
I was in a lot of professional shows.
I imagine you participated in the Penwomen shows too.
Oh, very much so, and they were juried, you see.
Yes, yes.
And no, I was in all the shows that we had locally and statewide at the time. My husband used to tease me and say, "When are you going to stop and do your own thing?" Because I was so busy going around and promoting the Penwomen and being in different shows, but very little. I didn't push my own stuff. I used to go up to Washington quite frequently.
And you've been into the Penwomen home, or the house there?
Oh, yes, any number of times. A lot of people don't know about us.
Well, we've been trying to get that out, though. You
know, we did too.
You did, yeah.
We did too. We tried to have it in the paper whenever.
But it's amazing how many people do not know what Penwomen is.
Yeah, they say, "What's that?"
Yeah.
When I moved in here, I sold all my art supplies, figuring I wouldn't be doing anything. And I hadn't been here very long when people started coming here and saw my work, and I've done more portraits from photographs for people here than I ever did before.
Yeah, is all this artwork yours that's in this apartment?
Yes, everything.
Everything.
I made my tables, I made lamps, I made,
wow.
I'll show you.
Now, are these pictures here, are these prints, or did you do those?
I did those that are all watercolors. At the time we were living in Maitland, we had a lot of artists, not in Maitland, but in this whole area. And I was in the Sidewalk Art Festival. Well, before you had to be juried in.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was only in it one time because it was too much of a burden.
It's a hassle.
I don't recall our ever having an exhibit together.
You were in Central Florida
I was
Art.
president.
You were president there. Weren't you one of the first presidents of Central Florida Art?
Well, the name was changed while I was president. It used to be...
Because that was the one with Pulaski, that Pulaski instituted, and it's probably one of the oldest ones in Orlando.
I was a part of that group soon after that he founded it.
Oh, really? Well,
yeah.
That was a very important
It
group
was.
at the
It was
time.
one of the very first art organizations that I joined. But I've always been fascinated with what you can do with all different media. So, was one of the reasons I trained to be an art teacher. Probably done more watercolors than anything else. There's a man that wasn't an artist, but he's very interested in art, and he became the director at the Maitland Art Center. This was years ago. He was so fascinated about watercolor that he got a group of us, maybe about 20 or something like that, from all over the state of Florida to found the Florida Watercolor Society. I was the first secretary and the second president of it.